Hey Capricorn, this is your look at the astrology of April 2021. My name is Katie Sweetman, and this is Empowering Astrology. You can follow me online for more astrology updates at empoweringastrology.com. So let's look at April for you. And April, by and large, is Aries season. And when you get to Aries season, Capricorn, the sun has now reached the bottom of your chart. The bottom is the base, it's home, it's family, its foundation, its roots, past, stability, ancestors. So this is a time when you're sort of getting into your nest and sort of having to tend to things that are very much on a basic home, family level. And maybe this is the season when you're making a change in your home, you're moving, you're doing spring cleaning or autumn cleaning if you're in the southern hemisphere. Your maybe family are a huge priority at this moment. And as you go into April, we have Mercury going into Aries on April 4th. So this is sort of igniting already. There's some energy in that part of your chart. The sun is there. There's movement in the home and family. And maybe if things were kind of sluggish before, they're certainly picking up after April 4th. But then we have to look to see where Mars is, because Mars sort of is the driver for this Aries season. It's over in Gemini. So speaking of cleaning, because Gemini for you is your sign of projects, it's the getting organized, it's your schedule, it's health and wellness, but it's also how do you get your life, your home environment nice and tidy and organized. So there's a lot of movement in the home this month, and maybe it's just on a very practical level. You have to reorganize everything, or maybe kind of clean things out. Tis the season. But it also might mean that you're very involved in projects in the home and needing to sort of prepare for, there's this idea that when you get to this part of the chart, you're getting everything set up so that as the astrology starts to go into the top of your chart later on, over the next few months, that you sort of have this stability, this container for everything that you need. But, to be fair, Capricorn, there's just been a lot going on in your life, and a lot going on in your life for quite some time. So, that Aries new moon that's on April 11th, this new moon gives you a personal reset with home and family. And just like everything I was just saying, like maybe this is when you are moving house. Maybe this is when you are rearranging your home, refreshing your home, initiating new projects. This includes projects to, build and to add things onto the home. I don't know. One can do that. I don't have that. Anyway, so this new moon is sort of typically a time when there's just some sort of fresh start with home and family. But we have to sort of talk about something else with this new moon, because this new moon picks up on a much older story. And that is Pluto and Capricorn. And maybe this is the first time you're hearing about Pluto and Capricorn. Maybe you're like, oh, yeah. You talk about this a lot, Katie. Like, yes, I do. So Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. I know, you're like, what? 13 years ago? Pluto will be in Capricorn for another few more years. This whole 16 arc chapter of your life has been all about you completely tearing down the old, remaking the new, sometimes tearing it down again, and redoing it again. 2018, 2019, 2020 were probably not easy years. It's sort of just like 2008, 2009, 2010 for some of you, and 2011 as well. It really was this concentration of intense energy. And you could say that even though we're in Aries season this time of year, it's in a way pointing back to all these major personal structural changes that you've been making. And a lot of the, who we think we are, and a lot of things that have been stamped upon us by families. So maybe this is the season where, as you focus on home and putting down roots, or maybe moving or making changes in your household, they have to reflect the changes that you have been making on a profound personal level, if not this year, then certainly over the last few years, if not the last decade plus. This is an intense new moon. I think one that is really striking at that heart of renewal, new beginnings, fresh starts. And if you are moving, maybe this move is symbolic in some way. It's symbolic of some sort of new time in your life that just detaches or separates from something in the past. And with Mars being the ruler of this new moon, again pointing over towards Gemini, there's a lot of movement. It's not a nice quiet landing with this new moon. It's like you're busy. You've got things to do. You got projects. You're moving, and then there's all these things that you have to do. You're not moving, and whatever changes in the home are really kind of requiring that you are doing a lot of work, doing a lot of initiatives to kind of get things done. That said, things start to move towards Taurus later this month, and first starting with Venus in Taurus. Venus goes into Taurus on April 14th. So for you, Taurus is your sign of how you express who you are, meaning your creativity, your expression, your personality, your identity. Yes, you're a Capricorn, but there's actually this kind of Taurian side to you, because Taurus is your fifth sign. Taurus gives you this energy of needing a lot of stability, needing a lot of security, maybe needing a lot of money. Capricorn and Taurus, they're what are called earth signs. Earth signs are about the material world, material stability, building, constructing. These are things that you as a Capricorn are just part of who you are. It's nothing wrong to have to create a material secure life for yourself. But of course, this is also a time when you are, to some earlier comments that I said, you're actually really remaking who you are. This has actually been going on the past couple of years, because speaking of older stories, although not as old as Pluto in Capricorn, as of 2018-2019, Uranus has been in Taurus. So what began for you back then was a 7-year story of reinventing who you are. The reality of that statement, reinventing who you are, is that this is a time about you actually becoming the person that you always were. And having to break through the structures and the beliefs and the past and the this and the that are preventing you from being who you truly are. And the idea is that over the next few years, when you look back, you're going to see somebody that is so profoundly transformed and different, and there's a sense of self-awareness and a sense of who you are on a much bigger level that did not exist in 2018. Certainly didn't exist in 2008 for you. I mention this because as Venus goes into Taurus, and then later the Sun and Mercury into Taurus on April 19th, it picks the story back up again. The same story that we were dealing with, let's say last November, back in March of 2019, May of 2018. And it's a story, like I said, it's about you reawakening to who you truly are. And this is shaking things up. And the thing about it is that when we sort of realize who we are, it can shift and shake our social circle, because suddenly we're not the same people that we started friendships with. And maybe our friends are like, oh, you've changed. Why are you this? Why are you that? Or maybe that's just the idea of changing ourselves makes us very self-conscious, because it's like, well, will my community, will the world still accept me for who I am? So I mention this because on April 26th, there's going to be a full moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is your sign of community, friends, social networks, social circle, but also a sign that points you towards the future. And there is this really sort of strong dynamic happening with this Scorpio full moon that's making you wondering, am I safe to be myself? I mean, of course you are, but it's sort of picking up a lot of deep emotional material. The thing about this full moon is that it points towards Mars in Cancer. And, as of April 23rd, Mars goes into Cancer. So we're sort of shifting out of this, Mars and Gemini time that's been since the start of March. Mars in Cancer. Cancer is your relationship sign. So there's something about this full moon on the 26th that's deeply getting into the heart of you, other people, the world, your social circle. And if you make changes in who you are, how does that affect your relationships? Because Cancer is your relationship sign. It's not just romantic relationships, it's all relationships. So the end of the month is probably moving a lot of things. It doesn't help that Pluto turns retrograde on April 27th. Yeah, there's that planet again, Pluto. And especially if you are a Capricorn that's born towards the end of Capricorn, this would be your January 18, 19, 17, 18, 19 birthdays, 20 birthdays. Maybe you're feeling this even more. So this idea that, again, bigger picture story for you, your world has been cracking and breaking and restructuring and rebuilding over a decade, and that as we go into the end of this month with some of the astrology, it's just the next page turn. But again, I think something to remember, because the sun will be in Taurus by then, is that you always have to be yourself. Don't be anybody else. Don't be what maybe your parents expect you to be, or your friends expect you to be, or your community expects you to be. You have to find what is in you, and that is what's going to really sort of blossom during April for you. So that is your look at the astrology of April 2021. Thank you again, Capricorn, for joining me, and I hope to see you all next month. Again, my name is Katie Sweetman. I'm an astrologer and psychic medium here in Brooklyn, New York, and you can follow me online at empoweringastrology.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. Till then, take care. Bye.